Oh, hey there. Look who it is. It's you. And it's me. Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in. Let's do this. Yeah, let's jump right in. Episode 3 coming your way now. Okay, my friends. Now, as per usual, we're going to take a look at the backstory to the band and the song. We're going to talk about the music. We're going to jump into the lyrics, one of my favorite parts. And then I'm going to try to play it for you. Sound good? Story time. The fellas met back in 1953 in Queens, New York. It was back in elementary school when they first started to learn how to harmonize together. And any fan of the duo will tell you that one of the biggest attractions is their super tight-knit harmonies. Now let's make a quick pit stop and talk about the fact that when these guys were growing up, they absolutely idolized the Everly Brothers. No surprise there. But also, before they were known as Simon and Garfunkel, I mean, that's their last names, but back when they were teenagers, I found this picture. They were look at that. Love it. They were a duo known as Tom and Jerry. I assume that has to do with the cartoon, because the cartoon came out back in the 40s. So these guys were definitely growing up with that cartoon. But yeah, that's where they got started. They wanted to play folk music like their idols, and they had a band called Tom and Jerry. This is before they turned into the mega hits that they would eventually become. Okay, so Tom and Jerry don't really work out, not a commercial success, what have you. So no big deal though, they're both young, they go their separate ways. We fast forward, okay, about 10 years later, it's 1963. Folk music starts to get popular. And the duo realizes this. They said, let's try this again. This time they go under their proper names, Simon and Garfunkel. They signed to Columbia Records, and they released their first album, Wednesday Morning, 3 a.m. Wednesday Morning, 3 a.m. was produced by Tom Wilson. Remember him, because we're going to talk about him again in a few minutes. He's a pretty cool guy. The album itself, however, even though it has the first release of The Sound of Silence on it, in an acoustic stripped down format. I'm going to put a link in the description below. Definitely check it out. Not a commercial success. Actually, I think I read that when they were performing it live, trying to promote it, people would laugh at them when they were performing. So I don't know, definitely not fun to be laughed at when you're trying to put out your art. But people are cruel. What are you going to do? Anyway, not a commercial success. They don't do very well, so the band breaks up again. They go their separate ways. This is a cool little interim period, okay? Paul Simon goes to the UK. While he's there, he's still writing. He decides to put together a collection of his own works, his own song. This is where we find the Paul Simon Songbook. Again, link in the description below. This is awesome because in these recordings we have the very first song on this album is the song we're looking at today, I Am a Rock. And it's a super stripped down version. It's just literally him and the guitar. Also on there, he decided to re-record The Sound of Silence. And again, just him and a guitar. No harmonies from Art Garfunkel. And it's really interesting to me to hear just him and his guitar. So definitely check out those below. Anyway, so he's doing his thing in England. Back in the States, The Sound of Silence, the stripped down recorded version from Wednesday Morning 3 a.m., this is all of a sudden starting to get traction. The college crowd is starting to get into it, and it's getting radio airplay at different colleges in the New York northeast region of the U.S. It's even started to make its way down the East Coast all the way to Florida, which is pretty impressive, and it's really building up traction. Because of this, Columbia Records enlist Tom Wilson to do a remix of it. Remix! That's right. Even back in the day, they were doing remixes of songs. So he does what's becoming a popular thing. He gets the team that he used to record the drums, the guitars, the bass for Bob Dylan's Like a Rolling Stone. He uses the exact same team. He gets them in. He makes them do a remix, a more pop rock version of The Sound of Silence. That too helps it build traction, and they were able to re-release it under this new single version. Anyway, news get back to Paul Simon, who's in the UK just being a beatnik, I guess, and they're getting popular. He moves back to Queens. meets up with Garfunkel, and within a shorter period of time, by 1965, it's like a #1 hit single. Awesome. The moral to learn from this story is, if you have a problem and you just back away from it for a while, things sometimes find a way of correcting themselves. And the moral of the story is, maybe you'll become a legend, all right, a musical legend, if you just let it breathe for a while. Moving forward. So the people at Columbia want a second album. They're super excited. We got a #1 hit single from an album that was supposed to be a flop. Let's keep this going. So they released their second album, The Sound of Silence. They now have the remix version of the song. They put it as the first song at the top of their second album, which you can get away with that. People still have the song. No big deal. They re-release it. The last song on the Sound of Silence album, I Am a Rock. And now this has the full-blown, mix with the guitars, the electric bass, drum set. You got Art Garfunkel's amazing harmonies, and this becomes another hit for them. I believe is their third hit. But that's really the story from there. Paul Simon being the amazing songwriter he is, the duo having these amazing harmonies that they do. They have more albums come out. I'm just going to throw them up here. Third album, Parsley, Sage, Rosemary, and Thyme. Can you guess which song is on that one? The next one, Bookends. And their last album as a duo, a studio album, that is, Bridge Over Troubled Water. And each of those albums has more and more classic hits. That's the story of the band. They end up breaking up. Paul Simon has a solo career. It's a bit more successful than Art's. They get together for some live albums, and once in a while to appear on Saturday Night Live and play these songs that people know and love. That's it. That's the story that I want to talk about. As far as the story for I Am a Rock, I think we went over that. We'll talk about it more when we get into the lyrics. Let's follow up this next piece with the music for I Am a Rock. Check it out. A winter's day. That's how that song starts. Now, this is not going to be like an instructional video of how to play the song, strumming patterns, and we're going to go over the chord progression. And I want to go over this intro because I think it's fun. But I'm actually going to put a link in the description, which is where I learned how to play the song. It's a short video, and it's accurate. So definitely check that out if you'd like to learn how to play it. But that being said, the capo is on the 5th fret, as you can see here. You're making a G chord, and even though we're making a G chord here at the 5th fret, that it's a C right there. So we're actually in the key of C for the song. But in relation to the capo, we're playing a G, and we're going to talk about the chords in relation to the capo, which is the first one being a G. And then you do this cool thing with your 2 fingers on your left and right hand. We're working with the B string and the D string, and we're just hammering on and pulling off with our left hand, our neck hand, and we're plucking at the same time. So these 2 fingers have to work in relation at the same time, and so do these. A winter's day, in a deep and dark December. So that goes to a C there. Which is really just putting what you've been doing the entire time. You just hold those down. On the song, it's a G a couple times. So the song doesn't come back to this intro part. It doesn't come back to it until the very end of the song, at least in this version of the song, the one that we're all familiar with, the electric pop version of it. So we have the intro, and it goes to, as I just showed you, it goes to an A minor, to a D, alone, back to a G, to a C, to a G, and then gazing from my window, goes to an A minor, to a B minor, to the streets below, back to the A minor, on a first leaf falling, C, silent shroud of D, stone, I am am a rock. Back to our G. And then we put our C down. I am in D. Island. To an E minor. And that E minor is the break between each of the verses. That's pretty much it. That does that thing again, which is reminiscent of the intro. So that resolves the chorus. It finishes there on that G and hits that C every. And then the E minor kind of resets us, prepares for the next verse, like I said. La 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 la. So that part is just basically the intro. What it was, it's just without the cool, embellishments. So it's the same thing, just playing it in chord form. Does it 4 times with amazing lyrics, and then it ends off. I know, so I am a and a rock feels no pain, and an island never cries. That's the song. We're gonna jump into the lyrics next, but that's the music. Cool. I mean, I think probably, I don't want to say standard for a singer-songwriter, but there's not anything too uncommon there. You got a couple minor chords, you got a couple major chords. They're all in relation to each other, but it's the melody, the main melody, and the harmonies that really make the song stand out, and then the awesome lyrics. Let's take a look at the lyrics. So my first episode was Debut y Despedida, a song about, maybe, I think we decided it was about a couple who had once been together, and it was like a tryst, not meant to be long term, and maybe even under the radar. But a song probably about loneliness, right? Hello and goodbye. Second one was Nobody Home, definitely a song about loneliness. And here we're here again, song about loneliness. I don't think I'm alone. I think I've got a pretty good supportive family group. I've got people around me that I care about, and I know they care about me, and I'm lucky. And I think that's maybe the reasons I'm picking these songs, is because I know there are people who aren't as lucky, who maybe feel the way these songwriters felt, and it's important that we examine these songs, and not only I enjoy them, I sympathize with them. The song reflects me a little bit when I've had those times in my life, and I don't know if the next one's going to be more about loneliness. It might be, but I remember one of my friends. Well, actually, I mentioned her name, Thea Lobo, a very well-versed musician and a singer. Amazing singer. She said the happier a song is, sometimes the more sad it is. And it took me a while to think about that, and it kind of makes sense. All these happy melodies and chord progressions, they're almost a little bit false. It really depends on the song, so we could talk about that for a while. But to be certain, this song is about loneliness. My next one's probably going to be a little bit more the same. Maybe one day we'll look at a happy song. You Are My Sunshine, My Only Sunshine. That's a good song. But yeah, Paul Simon, if you're not aware, phenomenal lyric writer. The first verse really sets the tone and the mood. A winter's day in a deep and dark December. So he puts these characteristics on what's just a month, right? December is just a month, but no, now it's a deep and dark month. Deep in the month is like Christmas time. It's supposed to be good vibes, but he's probably in England at this time, as we talked about, and not feeling very at home, not really having anybody close to. So winter's day in a deep and dark December, cold, dreary. Great way to start up our setting. And then he goes right into it. I am alone, gazing from my window. This next part of the lyrics are really cool. Gazing from my window to the streets below. So we can literally see him, in this apartment building, probably writing this song. And he's just telling us. Well, that's another thing I really like about the song, is that there's not too much to be said for having to figure out what he's saying, but he's saying it eloquently and also giving us all the information we need. It's also a contrast to like the happy melody of the song. We do have those minor chords, gazing from my window to the streets below, and there's an E minor in there, so those were A minor and B minor, and we talked about how the E minor resets the song, but in the context of it, they don't really feel sad. I think because the melody that he's coming along with it is keeping it driving. So it's here's an interview about Art Garfunkel had commented saying this.
This, according to Artie, is my most neurotic song. I don't know whether that's true or not. It's a song about loneliness. It's called I Am a Rock.
So yes, definitely agree with Paul that the song is about his loneliness, and it's kind of just supposed to be that. But when he says it's his most neurotic, I think it's because he's like in love with his loneliness, but that's obviously nobody could go that far. It's a little bit of craziness you got going on in your head if that's the case. But also I think it's because set to a background of this colorful, melodic, sweet guitar, chord progressions and what I consider a happy melody. But the songs are the words are so dark. Anyway, getting back to the first verse, the end of the first verse, gazing from my window to the streets below. I love this part. Talk about, what's the word? Alliteration. Alliteration is the word. Alliteration. Which means the repeating consonant sound in a string of words. And that's what we're looking at here. On a freshly fallen, freshly fallen, silent shroud of snow. I just love that. I mean, it's good writing. You'd think it'd be easy, but I don't know, try it. Maybe it is easy for you. Let's continue on to the second verse. Oh, so sorry. Before we do that, the chorus comes in, and it's pretty straightforward. In case you don't know, being a rock, being an island, means that you don't need anybody. You have no feelings, no emotions. You've killed that part of you. And island is, a place out on itself that needs the help of nothing else, right? So, I'm a rock. I am an island. Second verse. Just real quick before we go into the second verse, I think with this song, as I said a second ago, that doesn't have much double meaning, or even as much as I love to overthink and overanalyze anything, I don't think we have to with these lyrics. I think it's quality. I think I appreciate it when an artist can just convey their message, like just plain speak, like Daniel Plainview. But the opposite's fun too. But I just appreciate that in this song. I don't think we'll have to be making too many stops to talk about what the lyrics mean. If we do, though, we'll stop there. Okay. Second verse. I've built walls, a fortress deep and mighty. So I've built walls, a fortress deep and mighty. Reminds us of the wall from Pink Floyd a little bit. That was later, but still, this is just the depths of loneliness. Like, you're done with trying to communicate with people, and you just want to be on your own. I think we can all understand that sometimes. Not so much use of the alliteration here. We have that none may penetrate. So he's talking more about his walls. Nobody's coming in. I have no need of friendship. Friendship causes pain. It's laughter and it's loving I disdain. It's laughter and it's loving I disdain. We got the L's there again, so a little bit of alliteration there. But yeah, that's a tough place to be in. Another thing that Paul Simon did say, that he looks back on these songs and says that he knows he wrote them, but he doesn't know who that person is anymore. Like, it's good that he was able to get it down onto paper, put the music out, and express those feelings. But it's great to hear that he was able to be past them, right? Which is what we hope for anybody, to realize that you don't have to stay in that dark, lonely place. Have no need for friendship, friendship causes pain. It's laughter and it's loving I disdain. We're back to our chorus. I am a rock, I am an island. So the entire time, this singing, the lower melody is sung by Paul Simon, and Art Garfunkel gets like the I am a rock, I am an island. I've recorded it, and you'll hear a better version, hopefully, better than that was. Third verse. Don't talk of love. Well, I've heard the word before. It's sleeping in my memory. Man, yeah, just going for the gusto here, right? No love, no laughter. Don't even talk about love. He's heard the word, but it's been so long since he's felt it. It's sleeping in his memory. And I won't disturb the slumber of feelings that have died. If I never loved, I never would have cried. I am a rock. Really just painting the picture. Definitely agree. Once again, this is a song about loneliness, and it's great that from such a dark place, such a relatable song can come from. That's what art's for, right? Last verse. This is where he's got a little bit of hope, I think, in this last verse. And he changes his delivery here. I have my books. So we got something. Well, it's better than nothing. I have my books and my poetry to protect me. Sounds a little beatniky, a little bit nerdy, but again, thank God for having something, right? And he uses the word poetry right here, and I've got no doubt that he was well versed in a slew of different writings, journals, poetry, novels, obviously music, but the song itself, I mean, we've come this far. These words are poetry. Yeah. He's painting a picture with language, and at the same time, there's no doubt about the message he's trying to send. So he's doing a great job at it. I have my books and my poetry to protect me. I am shielded in my armor. And this is where it gets sad again. Like he's got this armor of books and poetry to protect him, but then it gets a little bit downtrodden again. Hiding in my room, safe within my womb. I touch no one, and no one touches me. So that last little bit before the last chorus, just he admits it to himself. The womb is kind of that sounds. You could just take that as a womb, but I'm also taking it as a little bit of sarcasm. Yeah, I touch no one, and no one touches me, and safe within my womb. You're only going to get so far in life, right? So it's almost like a little bit of self-realization that he's not necessarily like as happy as he's claiming to be in this place where he's at. And then the last chorus comes in. We didn't really talk about the rhyme scheme at all, but again, it's so straightforward. You can really just look back over them and see the rhyme scheme there. Hiding in my room, safe within my womb. But then the last part of the song comes back. And a rock feels no pain, and an island never cries. And a rock feels no pain, and an island never cries. And that's why we have the song. That's it, everybody. I've done a little bit something different for this video. I actually added a couple layers to the vocals, and for the low melody, I've got some overdubs going, which I believe is true to the song. And then I did my best to overdub myself doing Garfunkel's harmonies. So at the very least, it'll be a little bit entertaining to see how that goes. Let's do our rendition. Thanks again for tuning in. Please enjoy my rendition, I Am a Rock, Simon and Garfunkel. A winter's day in a deep and dark December, I am alone, gazing from my window to the streets below on a freshly fallen silent shroud of snow. I am a rock, I am an island. I've built walls, a fortress deep and mighty, that none may penetrate. I have no need for friendship. Friendship causes pain. It's laughter and it's loving I disdain. I am a rock, I am an island. Don't talk of love, but I've heard the word before. It's sleeping in my memory. I won't disturb the slumber of feelings that have died. If I never loved, I never would have cried. I am a rock, I am an island. I have my books and my poetry to protect me. I am shielded in my armor, hiding in my room, safe within my womb. I touch no one and no one touches me. I am a rock, I am an island, and a rock feels no pain, and an island never cries. And there it is. I Am a Rock, Simon and Garfunkel. Thank you so much for tuning in, my friends. I think all we have to do now is sit around and wait for it to be muted by YouTube and by licensed companies. Yeah, can't wait. Seriously, thank you so much for tuning in. If you like what you heard, once again, you know what to do. Give it a little of that social media love. Give it a like. Give it a subscribe. I hope to see you around sometime soon. You know, I'm out and about doing the DJ thing, the karaoke thing, the live music thing, the trivia hosting thing, and then maybe we'll see you on Twitch as well. Either way, I hope whatever's going on, I hope you're doing well, and I hope to see you for the next episode. Take care. All right, be blessed. Cheers.